Hi there, my name is Marvin Music and I'm the co-founder of Enlighten You. And today I want to share with you information about enrollment periods. Everyone wants to make sure that they get into Medicare at the right time because there's penalties and different situations that come if we do not select the right enrollment period. And so we want to make sure that you understand how this works. And so Medicare says that there are 3 different opportunities given to you to enroll into Medicare. Now you're only going to select one of these, but you're going to have to select the right one. And so Medicare says that you can come in to the Medicare system using what is called the initial enrollment period. We use the acronym IEP. And this IEP is for those that are going to take Medicare at 65, which means you're turning 65 and you may be on an ACA plan. You may be on an individual plan. You may be covered by COBRA, or you may be on a retiree plan, meaning you're not working. You or your spouse not working, and so you're going to come into the Medicare system taking those benefits at 65. This initial enrollment period lasts for only 7 months. That means the government gives you 7 months to enroll during this initial enrollment period. That's 3 months before your 65th birth month, the month you turn 65, and then 3 months after. And we would highly encourage you, if you need to start Medicare at 65, that you do the enrollment the very first 3 months of your initial enrollment period so that your coverage will begin when you turn 65, that particular birth month. And so this is the initial enrollment period used for those of you that need to start Medicare at 65, meaning you don't have an employer-provided plan available through you or through your spouse. Now, those of you that are already on Social Security, your Medicare card shows up about 3 months prior to your birth month. Why? Because Social Security and Medicare have enrolled you into Medicare using your initial enrollment period. And if you want to take Medicare at 65, then you simply keep the card. Now, if you have a group plan available through you or your spouse that you want to stay on instead of Medicare, then you'll have to send that Medicare card back in, and they will amend your benefits, giving you Part A only, and then you can pick up Part B at a later date. So if those of you who have to start at 65, we're using our initial enrollment period. That's one opportunity to come in. Now, will everyone start Medicare at 65? And the answer is no. Many of you are going to work longer. Your spouse is going to work longer. And so you're not going to take Medicare at 65. You're going to take it at a later date. So how will you come into Medicare using a period of time that will allow you to not have penalties or any kind of problems? You're going to use the enrollment period called an SEP. SEP acronym, which stands for a special enrollment period. And this is for you who are coming into Medicare at 65 and you are at least 4 months old or older. You could be 67, you could be 69, 72, but you are now retiring or your spouse is retired and you're losing that employer-provided plan. You're going to come in using the special enrollment period. And this is a different way to enroll because if we use this period, we're going to have to verify from your employer that you have had insurance since you turned 65. And so we have to prove you've had credible coverage. And once your employer has proven to us that you've had credible coverage, then you have another document that Medicare requires, and you will use those enrollment forms and you will come into Medicare using a special enrollment period. And so this particular period will be used by many of you that are viewing this video. So those who have to start at 65, we use IEP. Those of you that are going to use, are going to keep working beyond that, you're going to use the special enrollment period. And then there's a third period called the general enrollment period. General enrollment period. And we use the acronym GEP. And for those that have to use the general enrollment period, here's what's happened. They have made a huge mistake. All right? And so we don't want people to use this particular period. This is typically when someone thought that they had a special enrollment period and they did not. And so the reason that this is a problem is because you can only use a general enrollment period the first quarter of every year, so January 1 to March 31st, and then your coverage begins July 1 of that same year. Okay? And so anyone who has to use a general enrollment period has made a mistake. They didn't take advantage of either one of these two, and when you come in using a general enrollment period, there is a 10% penalty that you'll pay for the rest of your life for every year that you went without Medicare. And so again, everyone should be using these top 2 plans, one of those 2. So this is the one we take at 65 if we don't have a group employer provided a plan available. And this is what we're going to use if we keep on working beyond 65 and eventually lose that employer plan. And now we're going to come in using special enrollment and all the paperwork that goes along with that. There'll be no penalties and no problems with either one of these. So we don't want you to make a mistake. And in that regard, we want to invite you also to come to one of our workshops. I have taught well over 30,000 people now in Kansas City through Medicare educational workshops. And we have 5 different locations around the city. I do them every month. And we would be delighted to have you come to one of those. They're very educational. They're very informational. There's nothing you have to buy. There's no sales pitch of any kind. There's no pressure to do anything other than to come and learn. And we'd be delighted to have you attend one of our workshops and learn more about Medicare. Thank you very much.